What's going on, guys? In this video we're going to take a quick look at ORMs and Gorm, and then we're going to use this library to manage video metadata in our Shin API. Let's get started by understanding what an ORM is. ORM means Object Relational Mapping. It's a technique to query and manipulate data from a relational database using an object-oriented language. So if Gorm is an ORM for Golang, is Golang an object-oriented language? And the answer is yes and no. In Golang, we have types and methods, and we can use an object-oriented style of programming, but there is no type hierarchy. There are ways to embed types using structs, something similar to subclassing, but definitely not the same thing. Interfaces in Golang are different from traditional object-oriented languages. In Golang, a type satisfies an interface by implementing the methods of that interface. So there are no classes, there is no class A implements B, like in traditional object-oriented languages such as Java, C#, etc. Types can satisfy more than one interface without the complexity of traditional multiple inheritance. The only way to have dynamically dispatched methods is through an interface, and the method dispatching is simplified and it's performed just by the name of the function. So we can achieve polymorphism in Golang by implementing the same interface by more than one struct. So let's see an example here. Here we have an income interface that includes the calculate method, and we have two structs, fixed billing and time and material. And we can see how we can achieve polymorphism in the calculate method by providing a different implementation of the calculate method for each struct. Okay, now let's see what Gorm is. Gorm is a developer-friendly ORM library for Golang that supports associations, hooks, preloading, transactions. This library also supports composite primary keys. It also includes a SQL builder, auto migrations. We can extend this library using plugins based on Gorm callbacks. And Gorm provides official support for SQLite, MySQL, Postgres, and SQL Server. Remember to follow Pragmatic Reviews on Twitter and Instagram. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. So let's get started by setting up the mappings of our video struct to a database table. So we have to set data types for the columns, primary keys, foreign keys, constraints, etc. Here we have a video struct that includes or embeds the person struct here using this author attribute. So in a relational database, we're going to have two tables. We're going to have a video table and another table here, people table, let's say. And we're going to have a foreign key from the video table to the people table. So in a relational model, we're going to need an identifier for each of these tables. So I'm going to add this identifier, and I'm going to use uint64, and the same for the person struct here. Okay, and now I'm going to specify the struct tags for the Gorm library. And here I'm going to set Gorm. And it's going to be primary key. I'm going to set the value of this identifier to auto increment every time that we create a new video. And also I'm going to specify how I'm going to render this field in JSON format. So in this case, I'm going to call it ID, like this. And now I'm going to specify the types for the rest of the fields. So here is going to be Gorm, and I'm going to specify the type. That's going to be varchar. And here I'm saying that the maximum is 100, so it's going to be 100. I'm going to copy this, and it's going to be pretty similar, but in this case, it's going to be 200. And the URL, let's say that is going to be 256, and the URL should be unique, so I can specify that here. And I forgot to add this here, here, and here. And it's going to be unique, and so I can specify that constraint here. Okay, and here author is going to be a foreign key, And here I can specify what is going to be the field name that I'm going to use in the video struct to map this foreign key. So I need to add that field here. Person ID. This is going to be uint 64. And I'm not going to render this value. So I can specify that using dash. And the other struct is going to be pretty similar. So I'm going to complete that really quickly. So it's going to be, the identifier is going to be the primary key. It's going to be auto increment. And the first name is going to be a bar chart of 32 characters. The same for the last name. And here the email is going to have 256 characters. Okay, and I'm going to add a couple of fields here just to store a timestamp every time that each video is created or updated. So this is going to be time. And here I'm saying the default value is going to be the current timestamp. Okay, and here I forgot to add quotes here. Okay, and that's it for the mapping. So what we need to do now is create a repository, because currently we have this video service and we are using this slice. So we're going to replace this slice by a repository that is going to have a database. So I'm going to create a new folder, a repository, and I'm going to create a new file. It's going to be video repository. The package is going to be repository. And we're going to define an interface, type video repository interface. That is going to include a save function or method that is going to receive a video. It's going to be entity.video. We also going to have an update method that is going to receive a video as well. And the same for the delete operation. And I'm going to add another field that's going to be the findAll method that is going to return a slice of videos. So this is going to be entity.video. Okay, I'm going to create a struct here that's going to be the database. We're going to use SQLite. So here I need to create the connection. And in order to do that, I need to use a special struct from Gorm that is gorm.db. This is actually a reference. And now I'm going to create a constructor function. It's going to be new video repository that is going to return this interface. And what I need to do here is create a new connection, gorm.open. And here I need to specify the dialect. In this case, I'm going to use SQLite 3. And here I need to specify the name of the file for this database. So test.db. And here I'm going to receive two values, either the database connection, that is basically a pointer to this struct, or an error. So this is going to be database and error. I'm going to handle the error as usual. And here I'm going to auto-migrate the database. Basically, it's going to apply the mappings that we specified here. This is entity.video, and the other one is entity.person. And as we can see here, auto-migrate is going to run a migration for given models, will only add missing fields, and won't delete or change current data. So it's going to apply the mappings, but it's going to add missing fields. That's all it's going to do. So the first time it's going to create all the structure, the two tables, the foreign keys, and the constraints, etc. And once the database is created, every time that we change an attribute, we add a new attribute, which is going to represent a new column on a table, the automigrate is going to apply that change. And here I'm going to return a pointer to the database struct. And here I'm going to pass as the connection here, this database. Okay, another function that I need to create here is going to be a function to close the database. And here I need to specify, I'm going to add this function here actually. So it's going to be close db. And this is going to be func db, and this is going to be a pointer to the struct that is database. And here I'm going to grab this from here, and it's going to be close db. And here I need to call db.connection.close. And here I need to handle the error. Here I'm going to grab this one here. So I'm going to change the message here. I'm going to say fail to close database. Okay, and now I'm going to implement all these functions. I'm going to grab this from here. Okay, and here to insert a new record in the database, I need to specify db.connection.create, and I need to pass a reference to the struct, that is video. And here for the update function, database.connection, and I need to use the save function here, and I need to pass the video. And for the delete function, it's going to be the same, but instead of using save, it's going to be delete. And the final function, we need to create a variable, let's say videos. This is going to be a slice of entity.video. And here we can say db.connection.find. And here we specify the variable that we are going to use to store the values that are going to be returned from the database. So it's videos. And here we return videos. And here we have video, and we have this person struct embedded, which means that we're going to have a relationship between the video and the author. So in order to return the video and the related entity, in this case a person, we need to specify this. We need to set a special property. It's going to be Gorm, and we set auto preload, and we pass through here. And this will allow us to return not only the video, but also the person that is related to that video. That is going to be the author of that video, actually. Okay, the next step is going to be using this video repository from the service. But first I need to add here the dialect, and it's going to be SQLite. So now let's go to the service and let's replace the slice that we are using for this repository. So here we need to actually, this is going to be repository, video repository, and it's going to be repository that video repository. And I need to import that package here. So I'm going to need to do it manually. Great. Okay. And here we're going to need to pass this repository on this constructor function. So it's going to be repo, and it's going to be, I'm going to grab the type from here. And here I need to assign video repository, and it's going to be repo here, like this. Okay, and here, instead of using this append function, I need to remove this. I need to use service that video repository, and it's going to be save. Sorry, and this is going to be save, and I need to pass the video. And for the final function, I need to use service that video repository that final, like that. Okay, and I need to add a couple of methods. So I'm going to grab them from here, update and delete. And I'm going to add the implementation here. Copy this. Okay, and this is going to be service that video repository that update, and I need to pass the video. And in this case, it's going to be service that video repository that delete, like that. Okay, now let's work on the controller. So here in the video controller, we need to add the update and the delete function. So I'm going to add it here, so the update, and this one is going to be delete. And I'm going to add these functions here. So I'm going to copy this here and here. The update is going to be pretty similar to the insert. So I'm going to copy this. And here is going to be update. And the only thing that is missing here, I need to actually get the identifier from the URL. So here I need to use ctx.param and extract the identifier. I'm going to use ID, and I need to parse this value. It needs to be of the same type of the identifier of the video. In this case is uint64, so here I need to parse this value. So this is going to be strconv, and here I need to use parse uint, and it's going to return uint64, that is the same type that we are using here. Okay, let's go back, and here I need to pass this param, and here I'm going to receive the identifier or an error, and so I need it here. And this is actually ctx, like that. Okay, and here I'm going to handle the error, and I forgot to declare the error here, and also here. And here I forgot to set video that identifier, and this is going to be the value that I extracted from the URI. And for the delete function, I need to create a video variable here, video. It's going to be entity.video. And here I need to do something similar to this. So I'm going to grab this. Actually, I'm going to grab all this. So I'm going to parse the identifier from the URL. I'm going to assign it to this variable, and I forgot to return the error here. And I'm going to add the same to the interface here. Okay, and here I need to use the delete method from the service. So this is c.service.delete, and I need to pass the video like that. And if I don't get any errors, I need to return nil here. Okay, and that's it for the controller. So now let's move on to the API layer, that is actually this file, server.go, and let's add the two endpoints that are missing here, that is the put endpoint and the delete endpoint. Okay, here I'm going to add API routes.put, and it's specify the URI. That's going to be /videos/:id. And this is how I specify that I'm going to receive an identifier as part of the URL for the video that I want to update. And here I need to declare an anonymous function like this. And I'm going to grab all this because it's going to be pretty similar. And here I need to call the video controller that update function or method. And finally, I'm going to create the delete endpoint. I'm going to copy this. So this is going to be API routes.delete like that. And again, I'm going to receive the identifier of the video that I want to remove as part of the URL. And here I'm going to replace update by delete. Delete like that. Okay, now let's run this and let's try all these endpoints. The get endpoint, where we get the list of videos, the post endpoint to create new videos, the put endpoint to update existing videos, and finally the delete endpoint to remove a video. Okay, let's start the server. Go run server.go. Okay, yeah, I forgot to create the repo here, video repository. It's going to be repository.video repository, and here it's going to be repository.new video repository. And I need to pass this repository to the service here. And that's pretty much it. And yes, and one thing that I need to do, I need to close the database. So it's going to run this sentence when this main function finishes. Okay, so now let's run the server again. Okay, now let's go to Postman. Okay, first we need to log in order to get a JSON Web Token. Remember, on a previous video, we created a middleware to authorize JSON Web Tokens. So first we need to log in, and we're gonna get a token. Okay, and we need to use this token on each request. So first I'm going to create a new video, and I'm going to specify the token here on this authorization header. Okay, let's run this. And yeah, this is wrong, actually. Let's run this again. And okay, yes, we get a 200. And here I need to change this token. And I should get the video that I already created. Okay, so let's grab this and let's run a put operation. Okay, I'm going to change the title. I'm going to put video test. First, let's check the database. Let's go back and let's open the database. Here, open database. And here we have this explorer, and we have these two tables, right? We have the person, that is the author of the video, and we have the video. And we're going to have the reference here using this column. We have the reference to the person. This is the value for the primary key of the record, this one. Okay, so let's go back, and now let's change here, let's say test description. Here we are passing the identifier of the video here on the URL. So let's run this and let's see what happens. And let's refresh here the database. Let's close this. And let's see now if the title has changed. Yes, we have video test and test description. And we have the reference to the person. Okay, great. And as we can see here, the updated at changed. So it's different from the date when we created the record. So that is working as we expect as well. Okay, let's go back. And now let's remove this record. Probably this token is still valid. Yes, it's still valid. Okay, so I'm going to call this get endpoint where I get the video. And now I'm going to remove the video. Great, we get a 200. And if we go back, we should get an empty list here. Great. So we have the get endpoint where we get the list of videos and it's working okay. We also have the post endpoint to create new videos. We have the put method to update existing videos. And finally, we have the delete endpoint to delete existing videos. So that's pretty much all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.